Yes, guys, welcome back to the Ilovesesh podcast. We've got Pioneer in the building. That's what I'm going to throw in there, you know. We've got Funk Butcher. How we doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
You blessed?
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Finally.
Yeah. No, I have to thank you for your patience with me because, you know, I don't really step out and do these sorts of things. Yeah, so no, I appreciate it. But
bare negotiations, boy. Bare negotiations, boy. But we're finally here.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I've heard about you from years ago. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Nothing but good feedback from people, you know what I mean? Nothing but good energy. I could even tell anyway. Like I said, what I was saying to you off cam, I see everything in it, you know what I'm trying to say? So I know your respect for your man with sense, you know what I'm trying to say? And like we were saying as well, you've been in the industry for what, 15, 20?
Yeah, pushing on 20 years, yeah.
Pushing on 20 years, so it's like definitely foundational. You've probably seen about, what, 10 generations of DJs, of events, of hosts, whatever, everything, do you know what I mean? You're still in the thick of things. How are you finding that? How is that affecting what you're doing and what you're bringing to the table?
With the work I'm doing now?
Yeah, with the work you're doing now.
Yeah, I think it's been, it's weird because, I mean, we'll probably touch on this later when we talk about the why. At every stage of my career, I was always asking myself, why am I here? Why am I here? Should I be here doing this same thing? Like the energy that I had when I was doing raves like Tribal Life, when I was doing the stuff at Club Flex, like Rex, all those things, the energy then, it sort of, not saying it dissipates, but it does. You don't have the same intensity, but you still want to be creative in different ways. So I'm just using my creativity like in new ways about how to tackle the problem of how to rise in the music industry.
Yeah.
Because too many times you kind of get this thing, I produce music, I don't just play music and so on and so forth. And then people would say, oh, you need to make better tunes or you need to network more. No matter what you do, there's always some excuse of something else. And then after a while, you kind of get the gist that there's something wrong with the whole framework, the system.
Okay.
You and I know there's people that have been in the game around the same time as me, a little bit longer than me, and they may not have got the same level of recognition they should have. And this is one of the problems that I'm talking about with our industry, where if you're not careful, you can just burn yourself out
100%.
trying to reach something where it's not attainable for you. It's attainable, but not attainable for you. So, yeah, so I kind of have used my experience in the early stages of my career to be a bit more focused.
How do you, is keeping up with this generation of music, DJing and what's going on, is that very exhausting for you?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like when we was on radio, we'd get like promo mail outs. It's weird because when you first enter into DJing, you're really hustling to kind of get the tunes. You've got to look for the producers. When we started off, it was whether you're buying stuff from Rhythm Division, like vinyl, or you get the odd CD, which had loads of tracks on it, on the actual CD. I mean, it's funny because someone mentioned to me the other day, like, what's a CDJ? Because no one really uses the CD in the CDJ anymore. They use the memory stick.
Stop it. Sorry. Don't tell me that. What? No. What, there's a CD in there? You
used to be able to put the CD and it would read yeah, so the actual CDJ.
Oh, so you're not talking about the new one, like the ones now?
Yeah, but when it first came out, you'd put your CD into it. Yeah.
Okay,
but now people put the memory stick. No one burns CDs to put the CD
in. So if I burn a CD now, I could put it in the CD?
Yeah.
Stop it, bro.
I'm sure there's like, I mean, do you know what? I haven't actually looked to see if there's a slot there, but that's the way it's...
the structures and stuff.
The plate of it, yeah. So, like you progress in your career and you build up a name for yourself, and the records are just sent to you through the mail outs. And I still get the mail out emails, but obviously I haven't really been promoting myself from the DJing perspective as aggressively as I used to, because there's just been other things on my mind. But yeah, the keeping up with things I do from a different perspective. I used to be upfront and close. Now I've zoomed out a little bit and just looking at just the zeitgeist around the scene, what people are liking, what people are not liking, per se, rather than identifying the actual tunes and what's working, what's not. I think I feel old, and people might say I'm not old, but I feel like I'm too old to understand the essence of why the youth are into that specific sound and what drives them, kind of thing. But it's all of those underground scenes. It's driven by youth anyway. I don't think. Yeah, 100%. I don't think it's for us to be dictating what they should be dancing to.
I think I like what's happening at the minute, but things I'll say that even the house scene and it's moving at a fast pace though, very fast. Everyone's just, like I said, I see new people every day on my Instagram. Everyone's doing it in the bedroom now. Everyone's starting from there. So I don't know if the authentic of it is just dying out because everyone's just doing it to do it, you know. That's how it looks to me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like people do follow trends, but sometimes I think it's just killing the authentic side of things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, authenticity is a big thing for me. And I get it. We're in a different age now where there's a whole branding aspect attached to DJing now. You got to look good, you got to sound good, you've got to dress good, so on and so forth. Like me coming out with my black Primark t-shirts probably ain't cutting it. So it's like there's a whole marketability to the brand, and that's probably what's informing a lot of people to pick up DJing, because you had to have a real love for music to want to put yourself at risk and go on pirate radio, because it was illegal, and that's what we was doing. So that's what I kind of tell people, that we loved music so much that we put ourselves at risk. We could get nicked.
You can get nicked, innit?
Yeah, you can get nicked. You can get your records taken. You had to pay subs. We were paying to get nicked. Yeah, because that's what it is.
Facts, bro.
You're paying your £50 a month for whatever fees or whatever.
Oh, you're paying subs to go back? Yeah. I didn't even know that, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you had to pay subs to go on radio. When I was on Deja, I had to pay subs. When I was on Rinse, I had to pay subs up until they got their FM radio license. Yeah, then they kind of gave a couple man a little bit of a reprieve. Yeah. But it's funny that, because I do remember some people were a bit upset that some people didn't have to pay subs while I was on the station. Yeah. But I mean, they had a relationship with the people and whatnot. So that's that. I'm the kind of person where I'm not really watching too much what other people are doing. I'm just
doing what you're doing.
Yeah, just do what I'm doing. If I got to pay kind of thing, no problem. Just crack on. But there's all those things were almost like filters and barriers to see how serious you was. Like, how seriously are you prepared to pay this? Are you prepared to do this? Are you prepared to
risk it
so
all?
By the time you apply all those filters to the people that are coming in, you could have a nice cohort of different personalities, different individuals, but they're all serious about music. Now, there's people who predominantly want to be famous. There's people that predominantly want to get into clubs for free. There's people that predominantly... So there's a level of... there's all these different reasons as to why people want to become DJs, but music isn't ranking up there at the top, which is probably why we've got this microwave generation of people that they want to do fabric after, I don't know, 6 months on the scene. It's just like, okay, yeah.
I think you know how it goes as well, man. I think there's a lot of frustrated DJs among us at the minute. Obviously, everyone's energy is different. You know what I mean? Me, I'm humble. I don't even mind, innit, booking or not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just about, like I said, you've been doing it for years, so you know the craft, you know it in and out. You know what I mean? You know how it goes. I feel like that's why some people, maybe as yourself, won't get frustrated if you get booking or not, because you know how it goes. You've been here from 15 to 20 years. You know how it goes. And I mean, like I said, possibly have to be out there every week.
Yeah.
Probably have to do that. Obviously, you've got other things. We've all got other things going on. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
imagine if you was doing that, you'd probably be getting booked every week, as you would know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely a household name. Yeah, we can't. If you know about music and you've been here, you will know. You know what I mean? And I think that's where that generation's there's a big gap. Because some people, sometimes I'll be mentioning some names to some people of that generation, but they ain't got a clue. Like, I won't say I won't respect it, but sometimes you need to understand who's kind of like laid it and built it and structured some things for it to be where it is today. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's for me, that's frustrating, but I understand. You know, you don't know otherwise, innit? You know what I mean? But that's where they should be getting schooled and listen to the people who's bringing you that to the table to know.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, brother. I mean, for me also, it depends whether or not those individuals, those other pioneers in those spaces are talking. Because the one thing I would say about my generation, there is I mean, you probably heard it before, the whole crabs in the barrel mentality of people fear like amplifying the next man and putting on the next one and all that kind of stuff. So that's, for me, that was been one of the main bugbears that I've had with the industry, where it's not that I'm not bothered, but I'm confident in who I am and what I do.
So you don't.
So I'm not really. So it's like I did what some people have never done in like a 50-year career. I've done in like 30 years, 35 years, and for me, I was hitting my own milestones. So when I got into Deja, that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Deja was the biggest.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah. So that was like a huge thing. And even when people ask me, what's the proudest moment for you? It was probably, even though I had a show on Kiss, like having a show on Deja.
Big.
Yeah, it felt like a real
milestone.
Yeah, real proper achievement, because
everyone's locked into Deja, bro.
Yeah, and I think it's probably because of the person you had to impress. So the fact that I had to give a CD to Sting, and at the time, Fatal was the station manager when I jumped on, because I'd been up there before, but not officially had a show. I went up there a couple of times with my brethren, Marky Mix-a-Lot. Shouts to Marky. And then, but to impress Sting, he's a real music man himself. He's a real person who appreciates the sound. Whenever he's kind of setting up his sound systems, all that kind of stuff, he's listening to the sonics of that's a real music man that appreciates. I'm not just gonna bung any old speakers in the room and just try and make money off of people. No, it has to sound quality.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So when I was impressing him with the mix CD I gave it, I can't remember what CD I gave, and yeah, just things went on the up from there. But the generation which I've come from has been very competitive, which can help. It can help you sort of be sharper and better. But also there was a lot of underhandedness, which I felt it was a bit unnecessary. So that I always reflect on what happened. Like why did things go wrong? We was riding on the crest of a wave in regards to our scene, because I used to have a friend of mine who used to be up and down the M1. He was telling me about yo, like there's this sound like niche bass line, it's gonna take over. And I'm just like, I hear you, but it's not the thing in South. They hear it. I mean, when I was touching Napa, and obviously you got all the guys from Sheffield and that kind of stuff, and their bank. Yeah, there was this thing, and they had it on lock, and like there were tracks and elements of it. I'm a music man, so I love all music in it. So I could see it, but it didn't have the same hold over a crowd like Funky did. And I think a lot of the reasons Funky, because obviously there's a difference as well. Like when you're trying to tell people about Funky, UK Funky, what are the differences? Yeah.
Definitely.
Like a lot of it was the competitiveness wasn't measured. It got to places where we were trying to trip one another up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. We forgot that we were all brothers in this thing, brothers and sisters as well in this thing, and we're trying to build something together. But
it's just not easy, bro.
No.
Even the Funky thing. Do you think if Funky didn't set off like how it set off, do you think house would be like how it is? in kind of like, I don't want to keep saying our scene, but if you get what I'm trying to say, you think funky kind of got that going from what we've got now in the house scene?
Yeah, because
yeah.
Up until this point, maybe 03, 04, there was this weird sort of relationship between house and the black community. There was those who are a little bit insecure themselves, a little bit maybe say they're a bit homophobic, and they didn't understand where it came from, so they didn't want to associate themselves with it, but then they didn't do their homework enough to understand that garage has come from that. So garage, UKG, it's all the same thing. It's only when it gets imported that it's different. It's sort of a little bit like with Street Fighter, that Balrog is called something else, and then Bison is called Balrog and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So depending upon where you are in the world, it's really the same thing, but they're just calling it something different. Yeah.
So UKG,
UK garage,
yeah. UK also got the same thing.
Yeah. So garage is house. Garage is named after a place called The Garage, a club in New York. So a little bit like Niche, innit? Niche is named after the club. That's why they called it Niche. Niche in up north, right? So what happens within the UK, we sort of rubber stamp our sound when it comes over it to make it ours. So it became UKG when they sped it up. There were like 2-step variations of it, kind of thing. They're producing it. But a lot of the music that we will listen to that we class as UKG is US house. So like Todd Edwards is a US house producer that we've sort of adopted as our own kind of thing. He's made like more momentum and waves over here, but it's house music.
Okay.
Because when you talk to him, he was trying to emulate like the Todd Terrys and the Masters at Work and so on and so forth, who are they're like upper echelon house guys, kind of. Yeah. But what happened with UK funky, I feel, when you've got certain tastemakers like DJ Swirly, Super D, Pio, all them lot, when they're sort of mixing in the broken, the house, the funky, and they're making this really powerful tapestry, then the kids in the hood, whether it's north, south, northwest, whatever kind of thing, they're thinking, okay, yeah, I can fuck with this kind of thing because there's someone who looks like me who's playing the sound.
Playing the sound.
So almost the DJ is the cosign.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I like the funky house era. I loved it. I think it was fun. It made me. That opened me up to music. You know, you see, before that funky house era, I wasn't really a music man. You know, I was there.
Yeah.
But that funky house era brought unity. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah.
Man was linking my bedrooms in uni, Leicester raves. You know what I mean? Man was linking them, man, and bro, like we was all as one unit.
Yeah.
Doing our little circle, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I swear, then I thought, shit.
Yeah.
Is this what music does?
Yeah.
And that's when I realised, no, like, music is serious. Because some people's different stages in life and you realise music is deep. And I thought, no, like, this is deep. And you know when you're looking at everyone's just happy, everyone's just together, everyone's just, but I forgot. Every time I used to go to the uni raves, I forgot about life. You know what I mean? And I thought, no, music's, and then from there, I started getting into music. But I really enjoyed funky house. I don't know how it died like that. I don't know if that might be the wrong word.
Yeah.
But that's people. I don't think people appreciate funky house, man.
Yeah, and I think it's because it was just ahead of its time, to be fair.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think some of the sounds, I mean, the reason why I, like even me as a producer with my producer ear and sort of trying to identify, because the one thing about me, I'll be honest and say whether or not something sounds completely different, like it deserves its own labeling, or if something is, I've never heard it before.
What do you mean, like what? So if you hear a sound,
so sonically, yeah. So if I'm hearing production, so if I hear the production of someone like Invasion Records, yeah, cool. Shouts to Dow and Fingerprint. Like when I would hear their stuff, at that point I couldn't compare it to anything else. When I heard Fuzzy Logic stuff, shouts to Fuzzy all the time, man. Like these guys are really pushing the boat out in regards to their production and the way they're composing tracks, because prior to that, the biggest sort of London sound would have been grime, kind of thing. Yeah, and then you've got this now. You've got a whole UK dance phenomena that doesn't sound like grime. And to be fair, it'll be very hard for like a purist US house guy to fit it into their sets because it sounds quite different. Yeah. And it was borrowing little bits of it. It was borrowing a little bit calypso, a little bit of soca, a bit of zouk kind of thing.
All those bits and bobs in there.
Bits and bobs. But what it was making was completely different. So, that's a level of genius that we don't talk about. So I think 100%. some of those guys, I've been around them, and I'm sort of when I'm around people, I just try and analyze like where they're coming from and why they see the world the way they see it. Yeah, and just I think it's just the nature of art. When you're around some people who are just artists, they build shit. Like
they're artists, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a difference. Like you when you meet an artist,
you know,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah. So I've been fortunate enough in my career, and I think that's one of the parts that I'm very honoured by. That I've been in the room and I've been in the company of some really, I don't think you'd call them deep. They're just otherworldly. The way they see
the world.
Yeah, they see the world. They see sound. The way they compose things. You got to think like there's only so many like notes on a keyboard and only so many ways you can build drums, and then some of these guys are building new drum patterns and
somehow you forget.
Yeah. So it's sick, man.
So even the grime, because obviously you started from the grime.
I've been in and around. Like because I've got relationships with so many of the guys in grime. I used to play football just down the road here at Bartlett with a lot of the rough squad lot. And I've known them since I was at college. I went Newvic in Plaistow, and obviously Plaistow's Newham's got obviously a lot of the nasty crew lot and all that kind of stuff. So you just bump into. That's the weird thing about East London around that time. You'd always bump into someone. So I remember there was one time when I think I bought I Love You from Dizzy on vinyl. He was driving from Stratford. He was just shotting it on vinyl kind of thing. And I bought it and I took it to my DJ at the time. These times I was trying my hand at MCing. It's just like,
you gotta start somewhere.
Failed MC. I think everyone went through that phase of
of course,
trying
bars.
to I think that stemmed from there was one time I bumped into Sharky Major at St Mark's Church in Beckton. And I tell him about this anytime I have the chance of bumping into him. And he was there, him, Storm and Rest His Soul, and DWE. And that was the first time I'd seen D-Double. And I think just to kind of give people a picture of, if you think of like how you got like your EastEnders and it has your ratings like on a whatever night and everyone used to flick on and watch EastEnders, that was like Nasty Crew, 8 to 10 on Deja Vu. Everyone was locked in kind of thing, or recording it and so on and so forth. So when they would go out and they'd do their shows, it was just like shut down in the area. So yeah, seeing DWE do his thing like on the mic and then kind of going full circle and sometimes doing some sets of him is quite, I'm still fans of some of these people as well. I think that's how you should be. I think
100%.
Yeah. Sometimes people get into a proximity with these people and they'd be like, I can't be a fan of you anymore because I work with you.
No, I don't work like that, bro.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing good, man, it's making sense, bro. I think you should, respectfully, how I look at things, like if someone's always doing good, I think there's always a hint of you being a fan in their minute. I push, like if you're doing good, like I said, I always see like what you promote, what you thingy, and it's always positive, you know what I'm trying to say. So that's enough for me, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sometimes someone just seeing it is a fan. They don't need to like it. They don't need to do it, but they're relating to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of things you post and stuff is relatable, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we got to be realistic, you know what I'm trying to say. But like I said, you know the world we live in, sometimes being relatable is boring to them. They want to be just doing whatever, do you know what I mean? So that's on them. But so what about the record? I say you got a record label.
So I've got independent record label, Houseology. I started that 2009. And that was a funny story. I literally aligned myself with this diamond person called Phil Asher. Rest his soul. He's passed away now. But Phil was almost like the fulcrum point of UK. I wouldn't say UK, like house music within the UK. He had a label called Restless Soul, and he was just like a force of nature in soulful house and house music, and he was the touch point with, like, through him you might know someone like Paul Trouble Anderson or whoever kind of thing, because he was just this really, and I think consciously or maybe subconsciously, the way I live my life is through his essence. He was a very calm, measured, but he wasn't like, I can always read when someone's being positive from a fake space. Like he wasn't. So you could talk to him about some deep shit.
And you just know, just waffling, and
yeah. But he was just a realist, isn't it? Yeah. So and I think that's what I aim to be. I don't aim to be like, oh, love and light, and let's burn some incense and shit. So I'm gonna be real from a perspective of there's a lot of dark stuff going on. There's some good stuff. We can address the dark stuff, but let's just choose to go this way. Yeah. But Phil sort of took me under his arm, and I had my first release on that label, and it was almost like he gave me the opportunity, because at that time there was this split between what constitutes real house, and I guess there was and it's hard to explain because there was an immaturity in our production, because some of us were not professionally trained. We didn't have the hardware and all the gear. Some of us were didn't have the
Logic and that.
Logic and all that. These are the times when Logic, you had to have like this USB thing to use Logic. That was like Logic 6 or 7, man. Yeah, it was mad. Yeah. So those are the times where the company who made Logic, they were just getting hammered by piracy. So they thought, you have to use Logic with this thing.
I didn't even know that. It's a thing.
Yeah. So you had to have this thing in the laptop so you couldn't use it. So anyone else who had to use Logic, they had to have this thing. So there was that. But
they're getting hammered.
Yeah. So when we was producing music, it wasn't at the standard because we weren't in front of the software enough to kind of get better kind of thing. So there was this big gap between what we could produce and then like someone who else was from the UK, like Phil Asher, what they were producing, that it was just like taking someone from the Prem and then taking someone from like Power League and then trying to compare the two. Just weren't levels. So he gave me the opportunity to sort of, in a sense, shadow him, understand what I should be doing, how I should be building a track. Because after a while, when you're coming in as someone who just likes house and you're trying to build house, you get the loop and then you think to yourself, okay, how do I build it? How do I build it? Because house to the ear, it just looks very repetitive.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it's 100%. Very hard to produce, like how to add the subtle changes and make it progress on. So, so he sort of brought me into that situation. And when I was trying to just release a record, he linked me up with this other lovely guy called Mark Potts. And Mark Potts, he registered a record of mine to the Performance Rights Society, PRS for Music. They collect your royalties every time your track gets played. And these are things I'm learning on the go. I didn't know that. What do you mean? Like I have to? So PRS for Music is what all musicians who are aiming to have their music exploited and sold, they should sign up to that.
What's it called, sorry?
PRS for Music. So they're Performance Rights Society, and they basically, for when your track is played on an advert or computer game, they do all the administrative running around.
Oh, they do all that for you?
Yeah, and they collect it and then they send you the invoice of, okay, your track's made this much, you're on this advert.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're not signed up for that,
obviously,
the money just gets collected and it just goes into a black box, which they might roll over to whoever kind of thing. So it's important that you almost put your name down, you register, you say, this is my track. They've all got software. They've got software to detect like...
where that track is played.
Yeah. Cool. But it's a global thing. That body talks to all the other sort of radios and all, around the world.
So
But it's just like an income stream. So you'll be making money on the track being sold on iTunes, and then you get money from the performance rights. Yeah. So
that. See, it's something new for the people.
So I've gone in for that, but then he's set me up with a label, and I was just like, wow, okay. So it was actually through accident I got set up with Houseology, and my thing is sometimes sometimes when something happens, you have to learn, is this like the universe telling you that this is the direction you should go? So even though I didn't ask for this, I'm in a situation, let me run with it. So yeah, I've got Houseology, then I've registered it, did all the bits and bobs, and I was just trying to professionalize it, but I didn't know what I was doing. I'm looking around trying to find
like what's the next, the structure.
And what's the structure? But there's not many independent black owned labels heads like that,
yeah.
So from 2009, I'm trying to understand and just feel my way through the process, and even though the most rational thing to do was to kind of get a big name, put them on my label and blow it up. I started from community, so I started putting my friends on, people that I admired that I hadn't even really built up a friendship with. So I put on Banton on my label, Hard House Banton.
Yeah, Banton.
Shout out to Banton.
Shout out to him every time. For ages.
Put on DJ Icy.
Big him up as well. Yeah,
lovely guy as well. Worked with Tipper, Kismet, all that. So these were people that I was on the station with, and I worked with them because I admired what they did, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I've got a platform. It's not the greatest. It's still fledgling. It's still early doors. But I felt as though I believe in them and the stuff they do. I can see it works because I'm out in the clubs in the same club. So I can see that they've got a good ear for what they do. So just trying to maybe steer people into that space. But that's what I was using it for. I was using it from a space of like, Houseology was this collection of all the sounds which fell under the house umbrella. So it might be a bit funky, it might be a bit tribal, it might be a bit tech, it might be but it was all this stuff that the UK kids were dancing to. That's what this is my interpretation. I've put it all under the Houseology umbrella rather than kind of going, this is just house.
Yeah, just
because I had the foresight to kind of go, what if the sound changes in like a couple of years? Then what? Then you're stuck with this label that just does do that. Yeah. But I can kind of reinvent it because the branding is broad enough to kind of go wherever the house trend goes. If it's kind of going like Amma now and Afro, I could put that out on the same label and it wouldn't sound out of place because it's just the collection of underground house music as we see it. Do you know what I mean?
So you see, like, what are you multi-genre DJ? Do you play everything?
I mean, I can play everything, but I produce predominantly house. Even when I've done a few bits for Trim, I was doing like some hip hop bits, some bits of a kind of left field leaning grime stuff and whatnot. So I think I like to be experimental as well. Outside of
the best way. I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
I think it's better to play everything. It tests you as well as a DJ as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What you could do. And what's the hardest genre to like mix? Never really asked a DJ this before. What's?
That's a good question. You know, I feel as though.
Have you thought, fucking hell, this is a little task? Or you're just smooth with it, you just like...
Yeah, do you know what it is? Because it depends on what your mixing style is. Of course. I think if you know the record, it's pretty easy to sort of mix a tune. I think it's difficult when you don't know the records.
Oh, okay, so you're saying if you know it, it'll be easier.
Yeah. If you know the records and you know where the changes are and whatnot, and you can kind of find... Because the thing about DJing, people assume DJing is just beat matching.
I thought it was that.
Yeah, but I mean, you get people that just play the tune to the end and they just blend it out and then bring in the other one, and they're called DJs and they're earning shitloads of money as well. So it's like, everyone's got their style, and then you've obviously got the turntable list who just scratch their way through, and some of them are terrible beat matchers because that's not their thing.
Of course.
Because their thing is like scratching and all that stuff. So, in answer to your question, I think. It's difficult because even when I play disco, there's still a kick there. It's basically just like slow down house. Soul, it's the same thing. A lot of black music is quite rhythmic, so it's on the 4 anyway. So I don't know. Maybe classical music is us.
You ain't play classical music.
No.
So Funk Butcher, where did you get the name from? How did you come across that? Like, what What, like, yeah, because I've heard, when I asked DJs, like, oh, how do you get their names? One person told me about football, some person told me about holiday, some person told me about the mum, so I want to know, like, how did you get the name?
The mum, you know.
They trust me, bro.
No, my one was, I think it's just anyone who sort of knows me, knows Kwame and knows that I've just been a clown for years. That's even though I've got an element to me which is quite serious and thought provoking, all that kind of stuff. Fundamentally, I'm a clown. Yeah, I'm just I was a class clown at school. The Funk Butcher thing comes from obviously a play on the words. The funny thing is talking to this generation that haven't seen EastEnders in like the past like 20 years. They don't remember Frank Butcher. So Frank, yeah. And the funny thing about that is that I walked through this industry. I think for the first decade, everyone thought my name was Frank. So I'll be outside the rave. Yo, Frank.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I think there's a recording. I did a set with Gemini, and I think he's calling me Frank throughout the whole.
That's funny. You know,
but he's doing it on purpose. Yeah. Shouts to Gemini.
Yeah,
he's
big on Gemini every time.
Yeah.
I can picture him doing that as well. Yeah. You know him? He's just like 1,000 miles per hour. Yeah, Frank. Yeah. I can picture him as well doing that, you know.
But that's funny because I've done sets with his brother as well. You know his brother's MC Viper.
Oh, no?
Yeah. So and they got the same personality of banter on the mic and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I didn't even know that, you know. See, you know, new things every day, bro. Fucking hell. I don't even really know about him, though, you know.
Who Viper?
Yeah.
Cold MC.
Cold.
Yeah. More in the garage lane, but like an absolute legend. Like,
yeah.
Like him and B Live were pretty much
B Live. I know about B Live.
Yeah. Because I've done a mix CD with B Live. That's what I took to Napa in 2009.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I was even quickly to cut. Yeah, they don't even know about Napa. You see that? Yeah. Ibiza used to go off, but they didn't know about Napa.
Yeah.
Napa used to go off.
Yeah.
Though, bro. Yeah. Napa was serious.
Yeah.
Serious, but I was telling my faces all the time.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, beef and that go off, but our side, and that's where I was even saying to my friend the other day, we could have kept that Napa thing, you know? That's us.
Yeah.
You know, that's our thing.
Yeah.
And they could have had Ibiza. You know what I'm trying to say? They could have had Ibiza.
Yeah.
We could have had Napa.
Yeah.
Because that's how... Because I didn't know about Ibiza then.
Yeah.
My mind was just...
Ibiza was obviously way before Napa, and we didn't care about it because we was happy with what we had. Yeah, so I don't know what the shift was where we felt as though...
Nah, House just took over, man.
Yeah, it did. I mean, House took over, but again, there was this sense of...
Bro... Beefer was lit. And Napa was...
Yeah, it was. Listen, it was the best. I mean, I've been to a lot of places around the world. I've been a lot of places DJing, and the energy in Napa was just...
It was our thing, man. It was, that was it. Like, I even thought, no, you know what?
It's like, community. That's
that was community,
when you're touching the strip and you're seeing people from
community,
Liverpool,
bro.
Manchester, Bristol, and it was all vibes. Obviously, like you said, there was a few things where... but... 9 times out of 10, everyone was just there for the vibes.
Yeah, for the vibes.
Yeah. And you sometimes you just build friends for life as well. Like you meet someone and
100%. Yeah, a couple good people.
You might buck them up in Southport or whatever.
Yeah,
dance.
even that. Even that.
Yeah.
How's that even looking now? Because even Southport used to go off.
Yeah, so I mean, like they move Southport from actual Southport and
the Butlins or something.
Yeah, so I think there's just been
that used to go off as well.
Man. Yeah, and then that's obviously the appreciation of Soulful House being introduced to like a new audience in the UK, and then people feeling like they didn't potentially maybe want to rave with kids. Like kids are younger than them, so they felt like Soulful House was a bit more of a mature sound. So that's what they started to sort of concentrate on. Yeah,
I don't really know. Soulful House is probably if I had to think about house, I think Soulful's my weak point. Don't really know too much about Soulful House like that as I should, which is out of all of them, that should be in my top 3. I should be knowing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I even need to start doing more in that sector of things, maybe going to more Soulful House parties and stuff.
Yeah,
you know
I mean, I think it's just the music. The funny thing is, when we started off, we was playing everything. So our radio shows and our DJ sets were quite, not eclectic as in we were playing all different genres, but eclectic in the different styles of house. It wasn't purist. You wouldn't go and hear Amma all night, or hear tech house all night. You'd hear a
Whole
bit
mix.
of like a bit of tribal, a bit of UK in there, a bit of broken beat, a bit of soulful. It was all in there, kind of thing. So that's why I mentioned the residencies that Super Swirly and Pioneer and Elliot Ness they had at Hackney Central and so on and so forth. They really built the foundations in our side and East, but it was just a weird time. I can't think of all the planets aligning in at one time like the way they did, because the same thing was happening in the South, the same thing was happening in the Northwest. Like, is it Priory? I think there was a dance Priory that was sort of doing its thing on a Sunday, and then obviously you got Scholars thing in.
What, Brixton?
In Fridge Bar kind of thing. And then I remember I used to play at Mass. Mass used to go off. I know, like, God forgive me, but we used to. Mass was like a church in Brixton. For anyone that doesn't know, that was like so it was like a church in Brixton, and it was like and the funny thing about it was like,
how you even call it Mass? Nah, it's clocked, you know. That's funny.
Yeah, so it was this church in Brixton, and for anyone who doesn't know, just listen to this, like today, it was the vibe in there. The demographic was just like wall-to-wall killers kind of thing. Like it was hostile, but until the music come on. So this is why you understand the power of music, because I'm seeing some real serious dudes in there, and they're doing like they're doing their thing, they're doing their funky chicken or whatever. So they're getting down, and it was just like that's the energy and the infectiousness of the music at the time. But what I was saying is that every part of London was doing its little thing. It had this little residency was popping off. I had my residency at Stratford Yates kind of thing, and I think that was a Thursday. Yeah, a Thursday, and then they would have Tribal Life on a Sunday in the same venue.
Oh,
yeah.
I
I think the first one was, it might have been just before then. Then we got to Stratford Yates, and then we moved to Rex, and then it moved to Flex. Yeah, Flex and Dagenham. And that was that was
Stratford
sick.
Rex, boy, that was legendary as well.
But yeah, I mean, again, like there's names which my memories isn't as great as it used to be, but I'm trying to, as I talk, I try to shout the people's names. So shout out to people like Hot Stepper. I think Hot Stepper is someone who I got a lot of love and respect for. Some people might find him a bit of a prickly character.
He's all right.
But I think they
all right.
don't understand the nature of the business.
He's all right.
But the one thing I would say is that our generation had like super promoters. And what I mean by super promoters, they had people who were putting on like 7, 8 events that were keeping all of us sort of fed with work. And I don't think that thing exists anymore. So you'd have people like, maybe like him, maybe like Hanif, maybe like Moonlight. There was loads of, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but there was loads of individuals that were putting on a series of events, which meant that Thursday through to Sunday, you just had work, and across the capital. And then there's the uni scene. So the uni scene, I don't think is as prevalent as it was then, but I used to be up and down to Coventry, Leicester,
Bedford,
Hertfordshire. And then they would have these, this is obviously the time where they had the Luminar clubs, in it, like the 3,000 capacity venues, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is, those venues, they crashed in 2008 with that first like credit crunch kind of thing. But
they were ramming it out though.
Yeah, they were ramming it out. Easy.
Bare coaches.
Yeah. And the thing is, those events which had a lot of like funky DJs on the lineup, they would have PAs with like Bizzle will be on there, gigs will be on there. So the genres are always kind of a lot closer together. Yeah. So it was from an infrastructure perspective, they're looking at it, there hasn't been a better time. I know that might sound a bit like, oh, how can you say that? You sound like them old kind. But seriously, if you were there, the amount of opportunities and the money flowing through those opportunities, a lot more people were eating then.
It was very easy.
Yeah.
Money was very easy to come across as well. Everyone had, money was just flowing.
Everything's
a bit mad now.
Yeah, definitely.
Who else, do you know who I've got coming on? Funky D. You know what? I'm looking forward to that one. You know, so much as well.
Troublemaker.
Yeah. Very looking forward to that.
Yeah,
obviously, he was around them times as
yeah,
well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. No, lovely guy. But no, but it's like I found myself in this position in Napa of being sort of like peacemaker, big brother, uncle. I was always having to sort of calm people down and get people to focus on why we're here, what we're trying to achieve. Yeah, what we're trying to achieve and kind of stuff. So yeah, no, like these are good guys, man. It's just I think do you know what it is? I think when you have to accept that the beauty of our industry is the diversity of the personalities.
100%.
It'd be really shit if everyone was just the same, and even if they were like myself, like there's probably a bit more calmer kind of comedic characters like myself, and then you got one other end of the spectrum. You got just people just like really lively, like quite
just out there.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I've met a couple characters.
Yeah, but I mean that's the nature of this industry. Yeah,
but that's the thing as well, bro. Because remember, I've only been, obviously I used to rave years ago, but I've been doing this for like 2.5 years, whatever. But I didn't realize how much different people there is as well. But obviously, when you're just around your people all the time, man, like you're just structured to the people you see, your close friends and the people who are around you. But you see, when you come out of that circle, blood, there is just some different people out there, which is not a problem.
Yeah,
but no, there is some characters. I won't even, and that might sound rude, but there's just some different people out here, man. Just made me realize, shit, man, you know, I give thanks, you know what I mean? Because I must be calm. I thought I was wild, but as I've met certain people on this journey, I'm calm. I'm sweet.
Yeah. And I think also as well, again, that feeds into the why that I was talking about, of why people are even doing music in the first place. Some people are doing it to escape.
Of course.
And so there's an element of some people's personalities, they come out in the dance, some people's personalities came out in Napa, and you see a different side to them in Napa that you wouldn't see in the UK as well.
100%.
Yeah, so there's all these things which I've tried to explain to some friends of mine who they know music, but they wasn't immersed in it, kind of thing, of what it is to work in an industry with absolutely no regulations. We don't have an HR. We don't have some sort of formalized structure of this has happened, you report it here. There was just things would happen and you'd have to crack on. You have to get on with it. Someone wouldn't get paid. Someone would get beaten up. And you just had to like. And I think the process of it probably informs a lot of the way I've been posting over the past couple of years, of that sort of almost like grieving. Like you're grieving what happened to us, because there was a level of not to bring down the tone of the pod, but there's a level of destructiveness in our behaviour that was just spiraling, and it never sort of. You was hoping at a time that we would regulate ourselves, but it didn't, and it got to a point where every other day you would hear of someone was in something with this one, or someone had called the police and locked off this one's rave, and it was just. It was getting lower and lower and lower. The one thing you can bet on in the creative industry, that people are going to be creative with their get backs and that kind of thing. People were like doing things. I'm just like, damn, like, how do you even think of that shit kind of thing? And that was the part which was, I grieved a lot, because we all came in very young, in our 20s, early 20s. We didn't know what the hell we was doing. And then it sort of like, it cannibalized itself. We started turning on one another and all that kind of stuff, because people felt there can only be one like Highlander.
Of course.
Yeah, but realistically, if you are there for the experience of just being able to play music, just being able to play your own tracks, being able to play certain stages, it doesn't matter. I mean, the best bit of advice I heard from a mate of mine, Be Live, he goes, you can never be the best. You can only be someone's favorite, And I love that because you can't be what's the best? The best is subjective, isn't it? You could be someone's favorite.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That someone could be like, you're my favorite.
Yeah,
you may not be better than this one, but people do it all the time. Like whether or not they think Kevin De Bruyne's better than is inconsequential. Like that's their favorite. So that's where they're going to buy his shirt and all that kind of stuff. And that's enough. And if we'd sort of focused on that a bit more, some of that destructive
You think it'll go away? You think?
I don't think it will go away. I think it's the nature.
It'll be better.
But if that had happened, we might have added a bit more years onto that scene, the height of the scene. I'm not to say that the scene is dead. There's a lot of people who have done incredibly well from the industry. I always like to sort of highlight Rosca. I think Rosca's done incredibly well from UK funky production, just amplifying the diversity of the crowds it can wow. And he was doing this years ago. Years ago. When a lot of us were sort of had like our blinkers on and were just looking at, we had to smash the M25, or just UK. He was flying out with
from early.
Yeah, early, Screaming Bengal on the plane. That's when I became a bit more humble, where I was just like, yeah, I'm doing all these raves, but someone is where I'm looking for my car keys. I've got another brother who's looking for his passport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like those are the levels, and he's playing similar music to me, and I found it aspirational. I didn't find it like, wish that was me kind of thing. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I look at it, it's like, woo.
Motivation.
That's the way I view the world. I'm just like, that's a possibility there. Like, how do I activate that in myself to kind of
100%.
follow that? Yeah. But in regards to the momentum of the sound in London, it sort of, it did cannibalize itself because people were talking about this one and this one and this one.
That will never change though, man.
Yeah. But because...
Till today, bro, as we speak. Because, it's
but the thing is, I think I'm sort of across it. Funny, because for someone who I haven't really touched dances like that in a long while, but I still know everything's going on.
Trust me.
So there isn't much I don't know about it because of how many people I know in the scene. Yeah,
and even socials.
The socials.
It's a social thing now. I think half the time you don't need to go there. You know everything. You just look at socials. Everyone's got their phones in their hands now as well. And that's what even used to be different. Back in the day, phones were in hands like that. Man, it was a shubbing. Yeah. If man could get footage of back in the day and show this generation how it used to be, they're like, nah, madness.
Yeah.
No, it's just shubbing.
Yeah.
Just shubbing. Whole night, no blower. I think just when we had our 3310s and that, probably 7600 was about or something. Man was just shubbing all night.
Yeah.
Normal.
Girls, guys are coming out, the t-shirts are wet. There's like aerobics session.
Respectfully, there was no other class, nothing. It was all alcohol. You know what I mean? All natural vibes, dancing, shopping, trust me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. This generation don't know how it used to be. Everything was all natural.
Yeah. And the thing I wonder about is this generation doesn't have like that holiday island like Ayia Napa. Like they don't have like a holiday destination in the summer where they all leave the UK and they go to this place to kind of congregate and like.
So you don't reckon Beef is like that then?
I don't think Beef has got the same.
For us, if you're saying for us, then cool stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, people can go Beefer and this is the thing. Beef has always been doing Beefer from Carl Cox and you know what I mean. Carl Cox is a big ass man. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So there's always had that.
But you're saying nothing like.
But nothing like Napa. Napa had like loads of promoters from the UK
just there,
taking that experience to a hot island, and then
and everyone from the ends was just there.
Yeah.
Guy getting Napa 2 bills quickly. You know, quick week. That's the holidays that used to be. Quickly.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. It was affordable.
Yeah, affordable, cheap.
Beef was not affordable, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's not. Like to do it consistently.
It used to be there.
Yeah.
Because the clubs used to be next door. I said it was Ice. It was not Ice. What's them clubs called again?
Wait, Napa.
Yeah, Napa.
Yeah, Black and White and Ice.
Yeah, Ice
and Abyss.
Yeah, it was all that there, blood. The strip was mad, blood.
Yeah.
That was sick still. I ain't gonna lie, that's memories, man. Always try and tell certain man, bro, you man don't know about that.
Yeah.
It was serious.
Yeah.
Serious, man.
Yeah.
You know, but just like I said, we just got to go with times. And
Yeah.
if I swear, if I could bring back a mad ravers like Napa reunion, I swear someone's probably tried to do that already or whatever. But
Yeah.
I would, trust me. All the old school, not even old school DJs, but all them DJs there. You know what I mean, they're still because they're still a fan base.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just, I think maybe it's the old a lot. They're making me tired.
There's always an appetite for nostalgia because nostalgia music generally, when you hear it, it connects with a moment of when you heard it. So it'll be like, oh, this brings me back to my uni days. This brings me back to
this days,
when I met
days.
that girl or when I met that whoever, when I met that guy, whatever kind of thing. So it's like when music sometimes as you get older, it doesn't have as much impact because you sort of had your memories.
Yeah. Of course.
So I don't feel myself connecting with the music like I did back. I remember the first time when I heard Bionics play. You think he done Static's done a set at Bankside, and I'll never forget this set because that was probably one of the best tribal sets I've heard, and the room was electric, man. Like every time I see him, I just tell him like that set was crazy.
Memories.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is for me. Like, remember the first time I heard Perempe? Remember the first time I heard Kismet, MA1, A+ kind of thing? Remember when I heard these guys? And like I said, like, they're my peers, but I'm fans of them because they were all serious about the way they wanted to shape their tapestry. That brings me on to another thing. I think DJs get a rough end of the stick because people might see them as, oh, you're only playing other people's music. Because yeah. Because I mean, from where I see, even regards to the respect they get, because obviously people are making the tunes, they made the tunes, all that kind of stuff. But when scenes are made through DJs, like a DJ putting the tracks together to build this audio tapestry for people to dance to. Only a DJ is doing that. Because, the individual masters that work track is banging. I'm talking about the ones who don't DJ. Yeah. The individual Todd Edwards track is banging. Individual Todd Charisma track is banging. But when you put it all together, like what Super was doing and Wigman, all that kind of stuff, of building certain sounds and landscapes kind of thing for us, and for other people to kind of go, I like this. Like, let's do more. Let me add my mix. Let me add my thing to it. Yeah. So that was really game changing. But that's where scenes are born kind of thing.
Course, yeah.
Because even when you look at UKG, it was the DJs who took whatever was coming from the US, pitched it up and put an MC on it. So it's like if they played it exactly the way the US played it, would it have worked?
I didn't know that. No, it come from there.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So
know, bro.
Yeah. So the fact that they've pitched it up to make it a little bit skippier, put an MC on it, and then they're allowing the MC to sort of like, maybe the MCs are hosting, or as it's kind of segueing into grime, they're spitting more bars over it kind of thing, and then you've kind of got like your grime thing because they're allowing the MC to take center stage and spit more. But that's the DJ allowing that. You know what I'm trying to say? So yeah.
I didn't even know that, you know. I like learning new things. You know what I'm saying? I knew you was gonna come with some gems today. You know, like I was thinking, I'm gonna hear some gems today.
I think everyone's kind of got their perspective and their take on things. Yeah, but man, I've just always been a thinker. I've always thought about the why. Why did this person not do this? Why was this not done? This, that, and the other kind of thing. Because I mean, we are where we are, and it's. Some of it has been real beautiful. It's like sometimes I think to myself, the fact that I've got the jobs that I've had, the opportunity that I've had from music. Do you know what I mean? Like where music has taken me places that my actual uni degree hasn't. And I always have to remember that. It's like stuff, even as a dad, I need to sort of remember that the level of creativity and opportunities those doors have opened for me where, I mean, I DJed for Jeremy Corbyn up in Scotland for like a Labour rally. It's just that's and the irony is that I actually studied politics at uni, but my DJing has put me in close proximity with this guy. Yeah. So there's a lot of beauty that's come from music, but it's just like there's been there's a lot of trauma out there, and I always try and, if I can get the opportunity to tell people out there, like, the legacy of being in a very hyper-vigilant environment where you're at raves, you're at dances, and someone might get stabbed, or someone might get shot, or the station might get raided, or so on and so forth. So the frequency that you're operating on, I can see some people have done incredibly well, and they've sort of leveled out, and they're calm, and that's what sometimes I look at the socials. I look at the socials to see if my brothers are cool. My brothers that have actually kind of gone through this circle, how they're coping, how they're functioning, that means a lot to me. So, because if you're stuck in that space for hella long, it's just like being like in a war situation kind of thing. It's just every night you're going out and something's going to happen. You know it. Yeah. So it's just trying to juggle those experiences. Yeah.
So is there anything you want to say to the people who's watching, people who's just starting off DJing, who's trying to like make something of themselves? Is there any advice you want to give them before we wrap it up?
I think just go in and have fun. Try not to go in for the money. Try not to go in. I know it sounds really stupid. We need money to live and all that kind of stuff. But the best of you will come from the authentic way you connect with the music, whether you're playing it, whether you're DJing it. Just going from that real creative space, because that's where people who are actually paying attention will see you. Like, they won't be able to see you if you're there for the money or the endorsement deal and all that kind of stuff or whatnot. So yeah, and thankfully the industry is probably a lot safer for young people coming into it than it was. I'm not saying it's completely safe. There's still work to be done, but there's a lot more opportunities, lots of grants, lots of ways you can kind of get your equipment to get going. Lots of advice on the internet as well. YouTube wasn't as much as a thing where you can kind of type in, how do I mix amapiano or da-da-da-da kind of thing, or how do I record? There's all this information there for you to sort of like tap into. So that's really helpful. And and be patient as well. I think people want overnight success. That's very difficult as well, because you'll see someone will put up and I like the way some people use Instagram, where they do a shot, and if the rave is empty, they'll take the picture this way, and if the rave is full, it's from the back of the head, so you see the crowd. But it's just this perpetual image of they're always doing well kind of thing, and that's not the case. Like, any DJ that's been in the scene, and I've done radio where Blaze FM, Deja Vu, Rinse FM, Kiss FM, been up and down One Extra, Radio 1 ton of times kind of thing. And I've played to dead crowds, I've played to empty rooms, I've played to, so you're never incubated from that experience, but you just need to be patient and know that there's going to be an ebb and flow. You don't just hit the top and just keep ascending. So yeah, I think that's the advice I give.
Cool. Well, Funk Butcher in the building. Appreciate you for coming down. Blessings, bro. Blessings. Yeah. Sweet.